Hey everybody, how are you? Good morning. I am bright this morning. Whoa! Anyway, that must be that my big head of mine. Good morning, good morning, good morning. I am happy to be here with you at 6 a.m. Coffee with Shanda. And hi Lexi Burr, how are you? I'm glad to see you this morning. Hi, hi, hi. As you're jumping on, say hi to me. Okay, so I'm actually looking at my computer because I got a request, a suggestion box to help somebody with sales. So here's the question. The question is like, what would you like to see on Coffee with Shanda? And this woman put, when you hit a slump in sales and your mind starts focusing on fear, what are three things that would help you get over that slump? This woman has tried the mindset piece. She's tried surrounding herself with uplifting people, writing gratitude lists, focusing on past successes, taking massive action, weekly offering emails, phone calls. I'm wondering if I'm doing things wrong or if I'm trying too hard. Okay, so I love this question because first of all, I think all of us can relate to that. Have you ever, well, I'll take it back into this. So I am right now doing a prayer experiment, a 40-day prayer experiment that I'm coming to the end of this. And I'm working with there's five of us ladies. And in the last 2 weeks, I have basically fallen off my prayer experiment. And I was saying to the ladies yesterday on our call that it's almost crazy. It's almost like have an amnesia with praying for the other ladies in this prayer experience. And I was like, what is that all about? Like we do a once a week call where we pray together, we check in, and daily we pray together. And it's off a book that all of us read called The Prayer Maker. Anyway, long story short, there's some insane things that have happened. I'm not going to go into all of them, but let's just say everything from crazy spiritual warfare to insane miracles that are so specific that there's no way anybody else could have done them but God. And so, however, but the point in going back to this woman's question about, I've tried everything and it hasn't worked, I felt like that yesterday. I not really felt exactly like that, but I felt like I'd let myself down and I'd let the other women down. And most of all, it was an eye-opening awakening of, not pride myself. I have been working with my relationship with God for the last 2 years. Now, I worked on trying to figure out how to market on Facebook with multiple different teams until I found a team that me and this team worked really well for a year and a half. I tried to find my husband since I was 25 and didn't find him until I was 37. So what is that, 12 years? My point in sharing all of this with you is I really believe what separates people from succeeding and people from, really not getting what they want in life is the art of recommitting, right? So, something that I've been taught a lot of, especially in my pursuit of getting to know God more, is that God processes you, right? So if you pray for, let's say, patience with your child, if you pray for, like, I pray that I am more patient with my child, then what's going to happen is you're going to be given everything that tests your patience, because the only way you get stronger at something is to keep doing it. And somehow we have this, I think, a bit of entitlement that we feel like if we work hard or pray hard, that things are just going to come together like that. And it doesn't work that way, because it depends on how thick you are in your resistance in actually succeeding at something in life, right? So now let me just share what that looks like. If you're thick inside your head, you have a really high level of resistance. First of all, it's not about like making that as if you could never have what you want. My point is that successful people, they understand that there's a process and they don't give up. So the first thing I did when I recognized what I was doing in the prayer experiment is I said to the ladies last night, I said, I almost don't want to do another 40-day prayer experiment, because at this point it feels like a to-do list on my to-do. I was ashamed that I was saying that, but I was like, that's the authentic truth. Like, I'm not some saint sitting behind the computer, not going through my own process, right? Like, yes, sure, I've built an insanely great company. I am a national bestseller. I get to speak on some of the best stages. I make millions of dollars a year, and it keeps growing. I have insanely great clients that I actually love working with. And I can keep going, but none of that actually came like super easy. And you know why? Because I was really stubborn. And so, but I actually don't know anybody of my good friends who have great marriages, great fitness, awesome businesses. It looks like they're so consistent, but they're consistent in recommitting. And so, I share this with you because even when I was saying I was resistant about doing the 40-day prayer experiment again, I said, as I'm resistant with it, I am committing to do it again but what I'm fearful of, and this is where you have to realize, the woman who was asking me about being in a sales slump, you're fearful of something. There's something that's coming up. So what I was fearful about is that the ladies wouldn't do it with me again, and that I missed the opportunity to be with such rock stars and such incredible women to do this prayer circle with, or this prayer experiment with. And so underneath it, I felt like a to-do list. And then underneath that, it felt like, well, maybe I missed my opportunity. And if I was truthful, I felt that way in many areas of my life when I wanted to give up. And so I just share this with you, like based on the woman who just left me a message about, I've tried the mindset piece, I've tried journaling, I've tried surrounding myself with positive people, I've tried, gratitude, I've tried all these things, and yet I'm still in a sales slump, or she's still in a sales slump. And basically, what are 3 tips to be able to get over it? And I'm like, I can give you another tip. I mean, I'll tell you, doing endurance challenges are by far the strongest thing I've ever put into my life to be able to create the results that I want. And since I started endurance challenges, my company skyrocketed. But since I've been trying to have a baby, I've been really low on my endurance, and my stress level is like this, meaning that even though my mental capacity is really good, meaning that I don't get freaked out about things, my body is still going like this, which means that I still have the physical effects of stress because I'm not out there in an endurance challenge right now. So if you really want to know how to get yourself in peak tip-top position, I recommend you pray, right? And I also recommend that you get into an endurance challenge, whether or not you classify yourself as an athlete or not. I really recommend that. Now, here's what's crazy. People will still ignore me with that because they don't believe there's a fear underneath. Like, imagine if all you had to do is go into an endurance challenge and you'd start selling. Like, imagine if that was true. We hold them all the time inside of our company for entrepreneurs with people like Jesse Itzler right now that's leading one. He wrote Living with a Navy SEAL. He's Sarah Blakely's husband. And I'm happy to say he's an incredible friend of mine. I really respect him a lot. And but it's crazy how many people will still resist that, or they'll do one round and think that they should be making millions of dollars, where what you want to do is watch your growth, right? And so how committed you are to endurance will show you how committed you are really to your business, your marriage, and every other aspect of your life. And so it becomes your peak performance ability to rock it out, but yet people will actually, because of fear underneath, ignore that coaching and say, I'm not an athlete, I don't like to run, which, by the way, it's only like 30 minutes of running, if that. People will, they'll fight me on it. And they'll say, I know better. But what's the truth is that there's something underneath the surface. I have a fear of leaving my kids. I have a fear, like as if our children are going to fall apart in a week of being away, right? As if our children, if we left for 4 days every month for 12 months, would fall apart. They never would, right? There's always, but we have something underneath the surface that drives our actions, which often is called fear. And fear can be a great motivator in some things, but fear also takes you out of growing the biggest life possible that you can ever grow. And so when I look at Brendan Burchard, Dean Graziosi, Oprah, when I look at all these people, myself, Jesse Itzler, Sarah Blakely, when I look at all these people, they have common threads. They all train, right? They all do personal development like it's a vitamin you have to take every day. They never think that they're there or they've reached the destination. You know, I was just watching something with Dean Graziosi. It doesn't matter if you don't know him, but he's basically the best guy on infomercial with real estate ever, right? He's just, nobody's done what he's done on infomercials. He's an incredible marketer. He's an incredible person. And, you know, he just realized just last year in his life, he realized that there was all this stuff in his own personal development that he had suppressed that he actually would talk about and say, oh, have you ever done this? Like, you know, my mom or my dad or someone in school used to do this to me, and that's why I do this now. Or like you can pinpoint the place in your history on why you show up the way you show up, right? And you know it, and you can talk about it openly. Maybe you can't. If you can't talk about it openly, then it really has your power. But there's another mask, and the mask is I can talk about it openly, and I already know that. If you ever say anything like I already know that, you should absolutely get back on the training in the training room or back on the training field and physically move. Because that I know that thing means that you already got that, which means you don't. So Dean like unpacked all these things that he talked about in public for years and realized there were all these things driving his success, which is great. But then there's this other layer of stress and unfulfillment and things like that that we like to say money is the cause of, but money isn't the cause of it. Money is just a thing that measures how many people you've helped in your life. That's it. If you're broke and you think you're generous, trust me, you're not. You're not generous. If you're broke and you think you're generous, you're not generous. Mother Teresa was not broke, and she was ridiculously generous. Right? Like when you can, I have another spiritual trainer that trained me for many, many years, and she flies first class everywhere. Right? Like that's not broke. And she doesn't charge ridiculous price points for her programs. My point, like they're like $300-$500. My point in sharing that with you is it's your come from, right? If you want things to work out, it's your come from. If you often see yourself in a level of stress, overwhelmed, or a conversation like the woman who wrote in on the suggestion box for Coffee with Shanda about how to get out of a slump when you're selling, that slump you felt for many, many years, many times. And go journal again. Go take my endurance challenge. Follow the coaching. Get with a coach you're actually going to follow all the coaching. And make a commitment that you're not going to hide behind your kids, your health, your money, your limitations, your husband. You know, I did a workout last night, and I messaged Jesse Itzler and our endurance team, and I said, you know, I'm going into a training room for 4 days, right? And so I'm going to stay at a hotel in San Diego, but I'm not going to be with my son. And so I literally was feeling last night, true story, I was feeling last night, I don't want to do my workout. Like I was having like mommy guilt. Right? I really just want to cuddle with my son and be with my son, right? And then I realized, because I know when I have those impure thoughts that hurt me or prevent me from keeping my word and committing all the way, that is coming from a piece of fear. And so when I stopped, I went, well, the truth is that last weekend, I took my son to the Children's Museum and I had tons of focus time with them. This weekend, there was one whole day Zach and I stayed in bed last weekend, and we stayed in bed almost all day. We got up and went for a walk, rode a scooter, got back in bed, we read, we slept together. Like we had a whole day, like a whole lazy day together. I've never had that with my son yet. Like he's 2 years old. That's not, I mean, It's not something he would normally want to do. But he like played with me in his bed like all day. And that just happened a few days ago, right? I'm thinking to myself, no, the truth is that you're a great mom. The truth is that you spend quality time with your son. And the truth is that I have a giving week where I'm giving more than I normally give to help people break through their personal development to the next level, which requires me to have partnership with, you know, with our nanny in our life, my husband, and a trainer and a training room and me and the people that are taking themselves on. And the truth is that I will love the process when I'm in it, and I will talk to my son multiple times a day telling him how much I love him. But if I was neglecting him on a regular basis, then I would have a strategy to look at. So let me unpack that for you for a second. And I think he might have just gotten up. When you're neglecting something in your life, a person, something you love, a fitness routine, God, reading, personal time, when you're neglecting it, like I'm talking full-blown neglect here. I'm not talking you're in a push and you're being asked to perform at a higher level than you normally do, which don't complain about that. That, you know, Jesse Itzler says, you know, that's like a blessing from God because it means that God trusts you, right? Or some human being trusts you. And that's why your business is at a level that it requires more of you. Or you're building to a next level that it requires more of you, which means it's a blessing. It's a blessing you have the plan. It's a blessing you have the clients if that's what you're facing. There's nothing worse than, and I get this all the time in my marketing mastery community. When someone's been with me for 2 or 3 years, all of a sudden they have more, not all of a sudden, they work their ass off, but they have more clients than they're used to. And then it's a thought process like, oh, I have all this work. And it's like, first of all, that's a blessing. Second of all, get underneath them. Why are you so fearful of hiring somebody to help you do the work, right? Like where's the fear? Unveil the fear and take the action, and your life will keep expanding. But watch your emotional connection with the people that you love, because you can take the emotional stuff can take you out of committing or take you out of joy in doing this thing called your business. So whether that gets attached to our kids or our husbands or our wives or our self-worth or our self-care, or it gets connected to I'm emotionally drained from my business, I'm working too hard, whatever that looks like, this sales process is too hard, wherever it emotionally attaches, when that attachment happens, that's where your work is at. Your work is at the level of the attachment. And when you notice that you're attached, that's where you need to unpack it and find the fear and disarm that fear. And my friends, you will find that you are skyrocketing, scaling to the next level. And at the end of the day, don't we want our children to grow up and not only have a firm sense of family, love, support, and responsibility, but also a healthy relationship with what it looks like to be on purpose with the rest of the world, to share your divine, unique abilities, to serve other people, to be able to make the biggest difference on the planet, so that when you take your last breath, you know that you actually not just mattered to the people in your inner life, but you're so big. You're so big and you matter so much that you've made a difference to all the thousands and millions of people that you've touched in your lifetime. So let's raise healthy children. Let's unpack the area of fear on where we're attached. And I will look forward to seeing you on 6 a.m. Coffee with Shanda coming up this week. I just want to let you know that I think it's tomorrow. Let me just see. I think it's tomorrow. Hold on with me just one moment. And if you're someone who does want me to overlook your business or have a conversation with you about, okay, not tomorrow. Tomorrow I will be on Coffee with Shanda. If you're someone who wants to have a conversation with me about your business or maybe unpacking your fears so you can get to the next level, you can always go to a link that I have in the description area called helpmeshanda.com. That link changes, which means that currently right now you'll actually land on a page that gives you information about me and about some of our clients and what they're doing in their life. And if you'd like me to help you build your business or unleash your fear to get to the next level, go to helpmeshanda.com right now. Please share this Facebook Live with anybody who needs it and make a difference starting now. On another note, I will be with you at 6 a.m. Coffee with Shanda tomorrow at 6 a.m. But I wanted to share with you on Thursday, I have got my friend Ree Perez, who is going to come talk to you about branding your company on 6 a.m. Coffee with Shanda. So that is on Thursday at 6 a.m. I definitely suggest you come back. He's just brilliant at, your branding is connected with your messaging. And so he's really brilliant at that, and he normally doesn't do anything like this, but he's going to do a 6 a.m. 20-minute talk around branding. On Friday, we're going to have one of my close friends, an old mentor, Suzanne Evans, and she's actually going to host 6 a.m. Coffee with Suzanne. So tomorrow will be with me, and you will know that I will be on a personal development high kick tomorrow. And then Thursday will be with Ree around branding. And then Friday, 6 a.m. Coffee with Shanda on Friday will be with Suzanne. So Coffee with Ree on Thursday, Coffee with Suzanne Evans on Friday, and 6 a.m. Coffee with me tomorrow morning. All right, you guys, please go ahead and share this 6 a.m. Coffee with Shanda with someone who needs it. Talk to you soon. Bye.